but would more wholesale, big box that kind of setup, would that work here in Singapore? And then my second question. If you just go wild and you think 100 years down the road, and what would shopping look like in the world as we get into an internet age, as we get into a globalized age? What would shopping look like 100 years down the road?
Okay. The first answer is the same as the second answer. I'm going to emphasize that really, when this all comes down to the core issue, it's people and their humanity that we need to understand. So if you're looking for new forms of shopping and new forms of architectural effort in Singapore, if you think about what people's needs are first, rather than what architects want to do or what designers want to do, if you think about how this is really serving people's needs, then it may be a particular kind of solution which you think, oh, I don't like that, but if you're really effectively serving people's needs, then that's going to work. If you also then look at an expansive way in the future, I mean, we have to appreciate that human beings have evolved over probably 1 million years. And we've evolved with all sorts of peculiar and bizarre little practices. And all these things which make us human, which make us behave the way we do, are probably not going to change in 100 years, because we're in a longer run cycle of evolution than 100 years. I could do something quite bizarre, which I do with my students sometimes, to make you all happy for a few minutes. If you were to be so silly as to follow my advice, but I'll just give you the advice. If you get a pencil and put it between your teeth, and you're not allowed to touch that pencil with your lips, what actually happens? If you do that, I'll do it with my finger. If you put it between your teeth and you're not allowed to touch your finger with your teeth, you actually smile. If you smile for 2 or 3 minutes like that, holding the pencil or your finger like that, you will feel happier. This is true. Why will you feel happier? Because our brain systems are linked to the facial feedback muscles in our face. And this triggers the part of our brain which makes us feel happy and good. Now, what's that to do with? That's to do with about 1 million years of human evolution. And so to answer your 100 years question, the needs of people in the future are not going to be drastically different in a biological, physical sense than they are now. Yes, we may have a whole range of absolutely unsuspected new technologies, but some of these basic physical dimensions, how far we can walk, what we can do in terms of our sensory systems, they're going to be the same. So as we think about that expanded future, that's important. This is one of the reasons why internet shopping sort of works, but why people still go to fruit stalls and squeeze the fruit. Okay? Why is that important? Because we need that sensory feedback. We find that sensory feedback really rich and exciting for us. So, our physical systems here have evolved over a long time, and take that point as both a people and a people answer to your 2 questions. Thanks for the question.
We have one last question. If you want to take it.
Do it? Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry, it's really very short. Out of curiosity, when you're doing your research, first of all, I really like the way you have planned all the factors. It's almost like a model for a successful shopping village. But if this model becomes so successful that any consumer or any shopper or just any traveler gets to see it so common and so often, then the factor of spontaneity is gone. Like, oh yeah, trust me, in about 15 or 5 meters there will be a busker somewhere. Then the magic gets lost. So how have you, when you're doing your research, did you sort of preempt this?
I think the introduction to the talk gave some information about my own little sort of academic history and so on here. One of the things I was lucky enough to do was to spend some time at Harvard. And there's a lady at Harvard who is quite a significant influence on the ideas I have, and her name is Ellen Langer, and she's written a book called Mindfulness, and just very recently she's written a book called Counterclockwise, which is called The Psychology of Possibility. And the psychology of possibility says we need, as people, to keep on looking at not what is, but what's possible. what we can do that's new. And so the idea that I would have is a continued reinvention is necessary. You can't just put in 10 buskers and say, we've done it, we've got engagement. You need to put in 10 buskers one month and then 5 other people doing something else the next month and then another kind of activity, and keep a kind of continuous possibility of recreating the enchantment, the engagement. So it's not solved with one activity, it's solved with the philosophy of what's possible here, what can we do here. So that psychology of possibility, I think, underlies what I'm talking about. So you're absolutely right, we'll become mindless to buskers, but we need to keep on changing it.
Thank you very much. Please join me for the question for we have a feedback form in the folder that provided to you. We appreciate your feedback, and perhaps you can drop it in the feedback box right at the end of the room, or you can give it by hand. Last but not least, I would like to thank the audience for their attendance as well as the questions. It was a something over here. We have refreshments outside, and that also provides an opportunity for you to interact and even ask questions to the speakers. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
How's that time going? Is that right time?
Right on time.